different customers have different motivation, obviously, for data centers. For some, it's a pure outsource decision to mitigate risk. For some, it's a decision of bulletproofing the business and building some disaster recovery in. Some industries rely on other industries. So if you're talking about our telecommunications environment, for instance, service providers want to be where the network operators are and the fiber operators are. The fiber operators want to be where the customers, the service providers are. So it can become a bit of a vicious cycle, chicken and egg situation that one needs to break, find ways of overcoming. So it really can be quite different from industry to industry. Cloud providers are looking for maximum connectivity, highly diverse fiber infrastructure, underlying fiber infrastructure, and maybe even other technologies like wireless or satellite as well. So one really needs to go into the industry that you're targeting at the time and make sure that you meet the underlying criteria.
Yeah, that seems to be one of the universal challenges that I see a lot of colocation companies, especially on the sales side, struggling with. One is for the ones that are single location, it becomes a lot more challenging to have a disaster recovery kind of conversation with them. And then, as you mentioned before, like the direct connectivity and edge and latency and getting close to where their partners are, that's certainly a different kind of conversation. And the challenge with all of this is I see a lot of BDRs and SDRs and AEs in the operator space spend a lot of time in ecosystems hanging out with their peers. The reality is to get the best understanding of their clients that they work with. In many cases, maybe they should be hanging out in 2 or 3 ecosystems of the types of clients that they work with most often. Like, for example, if the product feature set for an operator is really good in healthcare, maybe they should be spending some time at healthcare technology conferences. If they're really big with working with manufacturing companies, maybe they should be upskilling and becoming more deeply knowledgeable about the technology challenges that IT directors and manufacturing companies face, whatever. So like, there's a lot of this of figuring out whether to be the generalist, whether to specialize, what gives the clients the most value. And it's a challenging area to navigate, because in a lot of cases, it's like this is true go-to-market. It's like hanging out with your product person. It's figuring out where clients are most successful. It's figuring out where you can be most successful in making investments with a long-term time horizon, with a lot of times uncertainty, because these contracts are usually multi-year. There's a lot of decision makers that are typically involved. So the timeline can be so long that some of the people on your decision committee may not be on the decision committee by the time they're making a decision, because they've transitioned to another employer. So yeah, there's a lot of, it feels almost like the head spinning that goes on in multivariable calculus, where you have all these balls in the air at once and you're just trying to figure out how to make sure that enough of them stay in the air to keep the opportunity progressing.
Yeah. Certainly your verticalized expertise, your verticalized industry expertise is important and key. And we've seen that in the different backgrounds and different requirements, And as a couple of years ago, there's another one, and that's the global polarization that we're seeing in the world of IT and telecoms. Customers from Asia don't want to see infrastructure out of the US, and customers of the US don't want to see infrastructure out of Asia. We never know what comes along, what gets thrown our way. We need to find solutions to deal with it.
Yeah, for sure. It's very, very dynamic. And there's certain regions where regulation is certainly, especially in the European Union right now, but in other regions of the world, there's things for sure that pop up that are at the intersection of geography and regulation that force certain decision-making processes and investments on the part of a data center operator that may either make your company qualified or instantly disqualified based on being able to meet certain compliance requirements. With all of this in mind,